Good afternoon, everyone. Today's topic for discussion is antiseptics and disinfectant. You all must be aware of these terms, disinfectants and antiseptics, as of now. Okay? As we know, the COVID had changed everything. So, these antiseptics and disinfectants they are used extensively in the hospitals and every other healthcare settings in wide variety. Okay? They may be used as a topical or hard surface applications, and they play very important role in the and they are very important part of infection control practices, and they aid in the prevention of the nosocomial infections. So what are these antiseptics and disinfectants actually? So we can say in daily life we have seen different types of antiseptics and disinfectants, and we want to study their uses, advantages and disadvantages along with the side effects of the same. Coming back to the antiseptics, these are the chemicals which is used for destruction or the inhibition of the microorganisms or microbes in the living tissues. Okay, so that will prevent any harmful effect of the infections. And disinfectants are the chemicals, okay, that will cause the destruction or removal of the microbes on the inanimate objects. So they will have a concentration dependent actions. At the different concentration they will have a different actions. They either inhibit the growth or they either cause the destruction of the microorganisms, that is they have a direct lethal action. Okay, so what are the properties the ideal antiseptic should have? Obviously, first and most important thing is the it should be chemically stable. It should not react with it should not cause any harmful effects, or it should not react with the metals. It should be chemically stable. Okay, then it should be non-staining with the agreeable odor and color. It is mostly should have a cidal action, not static, and it should destroy the spores also. It should have a rapid action, and it should be active in the presence of blood, pus, exudates and excreta. There should not be any irritating action to the tissues. Okay, and it should not delay the process of the healing. It should not delay the normal healing processes. Okay, it should be non-absorbable, and that should produce a minimum toxicity at the minimum acceptable side effects or the minimum acceptable adverse effect. It should produce their effect. So these are the criteria of the ideal antiseptics. What is the mechanism of action of these antiseptics? They have three basic mechanisms. Okay, first is oxidation, second is denaturation, and third, that is a detergent like action. So what happens at the oxidation? So it what is the bacterial protoplasm, it causes the destruction of that bacterial protoplasm. Okay, along with that it will cause, there are bacterial proteins and enzymes, it will cause the denaturation of the bacterial proteins and enzymes. Okay, and when there is a bacterial membrane, it will cause a detergent like action. By the action of detergent like action, it will increase the permeability, so there will be a leakage of the all the cell constituents out of the cell. Okay, and this will cause the cell destruction. So three main actions: oxidation of the bacterial protoplasm, denaturation of the bacterial proteins and enzymes, and third is important action is a detergent like action that will increase the permeability of the cell membrane, and it will causes the leakage of the cell nutrients or whatever the cell constituents. So this action is modified by either temperature and pH, the period of the contact with the microbes, how much the time of the contact between the microorganisms and the solution, the type of the microorganisms which are involved, the size of the inoculum which is present, and is there any presence of pus, blood, or any organic matter. These are the factors that will modify the action of any antiseptics. So, to determine the potency, which antiseptic is more potent and which is less potent, we have a coefficient which is called as Riedel-Fokker coefficient or the phenol coefficient. And it is how it is calculated. It is the minimum concentration of the drug that will kill the 24-hour culture of the microorganisms in 7.5 minutes at the normal temperature like 37.5 degrees Celsius to that of phenol. So it is just a coefficient that will determine the potency of the that antiseptics. Then we have a therapeutic index. So this therapeutic index compares the concentration at which the antiseptics acts on the microorganisms and the concentration at which produce the local irritation or any side effects like damage or interfere with the healing. So we have to determine this therapeutic index of each of the antiseptic. Now coming back to the classification, which drugs or which other drugs or which is the what is the classification of this and what all are included in the classification. Okay, the first and most important is the phenol derivatives. Okay, phenol derivatives which includes the different types of phenols like phenol, cresol, resacinol. Okay, then comes the halogens which are iodine, iodophores, chlorine and chlorophores. Biguanide, that is which contains the chlorhexidine. There are some oxidizing agents also, that is for example like potassium permanganate, halogen peroxide and benzoyl peroxide. There are some quaternary ammonium which are called as cationic. These are cetrimide commonly used and benzalkonium chloride which is also commonly used. Soaps, they are of sodium and potassium, and alcohol which are of ethanol and isopropanol. The aldehyde group consists of the formaldehyde and glutaraldehyde which are commonly used, acid, acetic acid and boric acid, metallic salts of ammonium mercury, zinc, calamine, zinc oxide, phenyl mercuric nitrate, silver sulfadiazine. There are some metallic salts which are commonly used as antiseptics and disinfectants. So let's discuss one by one the phenol compounds. Okay, so phenol, these are the weak agents. Okay, the first is, these are also called as carbolic acids, and these are the weak agents. These are the weak agents and they are static. They have a static action at 0.2%, and when the concentration is increased from more than 1, it becomes the Seidel. They have a poor action on the bacterial spores. Okay, so these are the phenols or carbolic acid. They have been using we have been using this phenol type of the antimicrobial since long time. Okay, and they are the protoplasmic poison. They will cause the progressive leakage of the intracellular constituents including release of the potassium and other membrane damage. It will cause the release of the cell constituents, so it is called as a protoplasmic poison. It also causes the denaturation of the bacterial protein. What are the uses of this? It is used in the disinfection of the urine, feces, pus, sputum, antipruritic preparations. The adverse effects includes the buccal or esophageal burn, gastric burns, respiratory paralysis when it is given at the higher concentration. Cresol is a methyl phenol. It is a form of the phenol and it is used in the disinfection of the utensils or excreta, and for washing the hands also it can be used. The third is a chloroxylenol. It is non-corrosive, non-irritating to the intact skin. And the most commonly used commercial preparation is a Dettol. Okay, so which contains the 4.8% of the solution. Okay, then alcohol 13%. It is available in the creams and soaps and lubricating obstetric creams also. The chloroxylenol can be used. Most commonly it is used in the surgical antiseptics. Hexachlorophene is, it is a potent chlorinated phenol that will inhibit the bacterial enzymes and that will cause the bacterial lysis. It is odorless and non-irritating. It is used in the antiseptics for the surgical scrub, toilet products and deodorants. It will cause the staphylococcal infections and brain damage if it is used in a larger concentration. Okay. There are some oxidizing agents which are called as a potassium permanganate, which is highly water soluble. It will cause the bacterial protoplasm oxidation. Okay, so obviously it will causes the destruction of the bacterial protoplasm and leakage of the cell constituents. Uses, it is used in 1:4,000 to 1:10,000 solution. Condit's lotion used for gargling, dutching, irritating cavities. Okay, for example, is there any infections, so irrigating that cavities infections, so it can be used. Disinfection of the water and gastric lavage. For gastric lavage it can be used potassium permanganate. It will cause the burns and blistering if it is used in the higher concentration. Benzol peroxide, it will kill the anaerobic and microaerophilic bacteria. It has a keratolytic and comedоlytic properties, liberates the oxygen, and it is commonly used in the acne, and it's used as an antiseptics also. It will cause the burning and stinging sensations, localized erythema, dryness of the skin and scaling edema. There are some halogens which are used as antiseptics. Iodine, it has a rapid action, broad spectrum. It has a microbicidal agents. It iodinates and oxidizes the microbial protoplasm. In 1:20,000 solution, it will kill the all vegetative form. So tincture iodine 2% for the alcohol, and Mandelspin 1.25% in potassium iodide for sore throat. It is used. Non-staining iodine ointment can be used as an antiseptic and counter irritant. Adverse effect can be corrosive action. It can have a corrosive action. It causes the burns and blisters and rashes. Iodophores, these are the soluble complex of the iodine, and that will release the iodine. So they can be used in the povidone iodine, which is commonly used for any disinfectant. It has a non-irritating, non-toxic properties. It can be used for any infections like boils, furunculosis, burns, otitis externa, ulcer, vaginitis, surgical scrubbing, disinfection of the endoscopic instruments. You must have seen in your surgical posting the povidone iodine. It has been used extensively. Then chlorine, it is highly reactive, potent germicide. It uses the disinfection of the urban water supplies. Chlorine can be used for the disinfection of the water. Chlorophores, these are the compounds which release the hypochlorous acid. First type is a chlorinated lime, which is a bleaching powder and used for the disinfection of the drinking water, swimming pools and sanitizer for the privacy. Then there are different other antiseptics. These are the sodium hypochlorite solution. Again, it is commonly used in the hospital practice. Okay, these are 4 to 6% disinfectant in the milk diaries, milk cans, equipments. Then antiseptics, root canal therapies, it can be used. Then Dakin solution is a dilute sodium hypochlorite solution which is buffered with the boric acid. It is added with the boric acid. Usol is a chlorinated lime which is in the 1.25 percentage, which can be combined with the boric acid. So chlorinated lime, when combined with the boric acid, it compounds a usol, and it is used to dissolve the pus and the blood clots, necrotic matter, and clean the infected wound. So in the surgical ward, operative theaters, it is used chlorinated lime with the boric acid. Chloramine D, organic chlorophore, it is, and the next is a halogen, which is a chloramine, and it used as a sanitizer. The next class of the antiseptics is bigonides, which out of which important one is a chlorhexidine, which is powerful non-irritating antiseptic, which causes the disruption of the bacterial cell membrane. So they are active against mainly gram-positive bacteria and mainly used in the surgical scrub, neonatal bath, mouthwash, obstetrics, and skin antiseptics. There are some quaternary ammonium compounds which are cationic antiseptics. These are detergents. They have a cidal actions on the bacteria, fungi, and viruses. They alter the permeability of the cell membrane. There are some soap preparations also there which neutralizes the actions and alcohol potentials that. The non-irritating and mild keratolytic. They are used in the sanitizers, antiseptics, disinfectant for the surgical instruments and gloves. Cetrimide, it is a soapy powder with a faint and fishy odor. It is used for cleaning the dirt and grease tar, and then whatever the blood that is uh, there on the road accidents, due to the road accidents there may be blood in the roads. So for that, it uses antiseptics in the hospitals, disinfectants for the surgical instruments and utensils. So whatever instruments, surgical instruments, these are used in the operations, or utensils which are used in the surgical OTs, gynec OT, so these are sanitized by the cetrimide. So soaps, these are the anionic detergents. These are weak antiseptics and they affect the gram-positive bacteria. They use for cleansing action. Alcohols, for example, ethanol. So ethanol is a effective antiseptic. Okay, so it has a cleansing agent at the 40 to 90% concentration. So whenever the ethanol is used at the 40 to 90% concentration, it has a cleansing action, so it has to be used at the specific range of concentration only. It has a rapid action, and that action increases with the increasing in the concentration. It will precipitate the bacterial proteins, but it has an adverse effect. It will cause the burning sensation, injury, and form the coagulum of the bacteria for the bacterial growth. Then aldehydes. The next class is the aldehydes. Okay, so formaldehyde and acetaldehyde, there are two aldehyde group. First is a formaldehyde that will causes the denaturation of the bacterial proteins. It has a protoplasmic actions. It will precipitate the toxins out of the toxide out of the toxins. It is uses as a disinfection of the instruments, excreta, and it will preservation of the dead tissues, fumigation of the OT. It is commonly used. Okay, so formaldehyde, it is used for the fumigation of the OTs. Before every surgery, the fumigation every day, the fumigation of the OT is done by the formaldehyde. Then adverse effects, eczematoid reactions. The next aldehyde is a glutaraldehyde, which acts as a sterilizing agent. It is less irritant and less pungent than formaldehyde. Someone can have a strong smell. Someone experiences a strong smell of the formaldehyde, but glutaraldehyde is less irritating to the nose and less pungent smell. So it is used in the disinfection of the surgical instruments and endoscopes. The acids are, next class is acids, boric acids. These are bacteriostatic and it has a weak, if it is static then it will have a weak antiseptic properties, but these are non-irritating. So it can be used to irrigate the eyes, mouth washes. Then boroglycerine pens, which is used for stomatitis and glossitis. Boroside in 10%, it can be used in cuts, abrasions, prickly heat powders, ear drops, and irrigating bladders. Vomiting, abdominal pain, diarrhea, visual and kidney damage it can have a side effect like this. Acetic acid is a cidal, so it is a bactericidal, and it is used commonly for the burn dressing. The next class is a metallic salts. For example, like mercury compounds. These are static, so poor antiseptics. They have a low therapeutic index and that will inactivate the enzymes. For example, like ammonium mercury, it is used in 5 to 10% of the ointment dermatophytosis in the anal pruritus. Phenyl mercuric nitrate, which is used in the tinea remedies, anorectal preparations, otic and ocular preparations, and preservatives. Mercurium, it is bright red and organic mercurial, which is non-irritating and less toxic. It is used in 1 to 2% for eyes and skin. There are some silver compounds which has astringent like action and the caustic actions. So it will react with the different types of proteins like SH, CH. So whenever we see the chemical nature of the proteins, so it will act at the different chemical bonds and it will destroy that bonds. So it will shows the oligodynamic actions that will it reduce the Ag plus ions concentration which is stored in the water in the silver vessels. So silver nitrate is the second one which rapidly kills the microbes and it will form the silver proteinate which with the tissue proteins and it will have a toxic actions. It is used in the hypertrophic tonsillitis and aphthous ulcer. Silver sulfadiazine, you must be aware of this. It is highly active and it is used most commonly as a ointment in the burns. So please remember silver sulfadiazine oil used as the burns. There are some zinc salts which acts as astringents and mild antiseptics. First is a zinc sulfate which is water soluble and it decreases the perspiration. So it is used in the eye and ear drops, eye wash, white lotion 4%, zinc sulfate or sulfated potash. For acne and impetigo it can be used. So mainly they are useful in the dermatological and ophthalmology and ENT preparations. Calamine and zinc oxide. So you must be aware of this. These are mild antiseptics. These are the dermal protectives and adsorbents. Sorry. Then comes the dyes. The gentian violet or the crystal violet dyes. These are rosaline dye which is active against the staphylococci and gram-positive bacteria. They are the alcoholic solutions which are mainly used for the furunculosis, bed sores, chronic ulcers and infective eczema, thrush and ringworm. Then there are different acryflavin and proflavin type of the dyes. These are the orange or yellow colored dyes and they are active against the gram-positive bacteria and gonococci. They are sensitive to light and they will lose the potency or the efficacy. Okay, they are used in the chronic ulcers, wounds, burn dressings, triple dye lotions like gentian violet 0.25%, brilliant green which is in the 0.25% and acryflavin which is in the 0.1% which is used for burn. Okay, and whenever in the neonates there is an umbilical stump, so for that dressing also it is commonly used. Then the furan derivatives, these are cidal for gram positive as well as gram negative bacteria, aerobic and anaerobic bacteria. It will inhibit the enzyme for the carbohydrates metabolism. Efficacious in the burns, skin grafting. So this was all about the disinfectant and antiseptic topics. Okay, if you have any query related to it, please get back to me. Thank you.